It is the 21st of January 2018, and it's 45 degrees in Philadelphia. Wind not a factor. Let's go down to the field and check in with Chris Myers.
And Joe, the weather won't be an issue, but the field could be. The middle part of this field was re-sodded this week after the Falcons were seen slipping to defeat here last weekend. Mike Zimmer showed the Viking players video of that, said get the right shoes, be able to adjust. He's most concerned late in the game outside the numbers when footing could be treacherous if you're not prepared for it. Doug Peterson saying his team is feeding off the underdog role at home. And then there's this note, indoor teams playing outdoors on the road in conference championship games in the history of the NFL, they've never won. A combined record 0-12.
Chris, thanks. Mike Zimmer was the first guy out here checking the footing earlier today. Spanish language broadcast available on both Fox Deportes and by utilizing SAP on our broadcast. Away we go. NFC Championship game underway. The Eagles won the toss. They deferred, so it's Minnesota's ball, and that means that Case Keenum, fresh off that crazy 61-yarder to Stephon Diggs, which got him over 300 yards passing in that divisional game against the Saints, walks out there to start his night.
Well, we talked about it last week in his first playoff start. How would he handle that moment? And from the very first snap, he was very calm. It helped on their opening drive last week that they were able to drive the football and score a touchdown. He only had to throw 2 passes. They ran the ball well, but he completed both of those.
Philly hard to run against. They'll try it here, and Latavius Murray with a nice gain on first down of 6. Fletcher Cox made the stop, and he was all over the place against the Falcons last weekend. Here's the Vikings offense, and it's the same alignment along that offensive line as they had against the Saints. And then the backs and receivers will see the 2-back attack of Murray and McKinnon. Good tight end in Kyle Rudolph. Second down and 4. Murray again. This time he is tripped up after a yard and a half by Jalen Mills. 3rd and short coming up. Troy, this is a very good, I don't want to say underrated, defense for the Eagles, and they're opportunistic. They had 31 takeaways during the regular season, 4th most in the league.
Well, that front 7, especially that front 4, is the strength of this defense, and they do a much better job in pass coverage than the numbers would suggest. Teams give up on the run and have had to a lot this season because they've had such big leads, but they're a pretty good group on the back end.
Handoff is to McKinnon, and he's going to spin and knock down right at the 35-yard line, and with the officials running in, it's enough for a first down. Nigel Bradham, who played every snap last week, was in to make the stop, but not before McKinnon picked up enough for a first down.
Well, that's a nice job. On first down, they run the football and they get a nice gain, and then are able to get enough on 2nd and 3rd to move the chains. And for Case Keenum to be able to just turn back and hand the ball off on the first 3 plays of the game and have a new set of downs is a pretty good feeling.
Play came in late. Play clock at 3. On first down, out of the backfield, Murray. And Latavius Murray is out of bounds with close to another first down after going around Malcolm Jenkins. And they're going to give him 11.
Well, I think this is really smart. One, I think Pat Shurmur, the offensive coordinator for the Vikings, I thought he did a wonderful job, as he has all year, last week in that game, and just kind of allowing Case Keenum to ease into this thing. I talk about the job on the opening drive last week. It was an 8-play touchdown drive with 6 runs and just 2 passes. That time on first down, he was throwing that swing route the entire way. There was no other option for Keenum on that play.
So on first down, they hand to Murray, and the former Oakland Raider pushing the pile up near midfield. He gets 4.
Well, this offensive line, as you talked about, Joe, they've had a lot of different lineups. Last week in that divisional playoff game was their 8th lineup combination up front, and they moved Mike Remmers, number 74, there to left guard, and he did a pretty good job in his first start at that position. So far, it's been good. They've run the ball pretty effectively, but a whole different animal with Fletcher Cox and Tim Jernigan inside.
Play action from Keenum. Well protected. Slings it. Pass is caught by Thielen. And this good drive continues to the 39 of Philadelphia. An 11-yard completion from Keenum.
Well, we know Jim Schwartz, the defensive coordinator for the Eagles, he does not want to have to bring pressure. He wants to get to the quarterback with a 4-man rush, and if the Vikings can block this defensive front the way they did on that play, Keenum's going to have a lot of time to be able to throw to 2 wide receivers that have been outstanding this year.
Handoff is to McKinnon. And Jerick McKinnon with a little bounce to the edge. And they're going to mark him out of bounds with 10 yards. And we'll see, and it is a first down yet again for Mike Zimmer's Vikings.
Pretty good move there by Jerick McKinnon, and generally speaking, the Eagles are a good tackling defense, but they lose contain, and he gets the edge.
McKinnon takes it. Hendricks can't bring him down, and a decent gain on first down of 4 yards as Ronald Darby is there for the tackle.
Coming in, as you look at this ball game and you see how good Philadelphia has been against the run. Number 1 in yardage given up on the ground, and yet Minnesota Vikings, other than a couple throws by Keenum, they've taken it to him on the ground.
Already 4 first downs for Minnesota. Second down and 6. This one floated for Rudolph. Touchdown, what a start. Just about a perfect drive put together by the Vikings to begin this game here in Philadelphia, and what a good throw from Keenum there.
Well, let's look at what set it up. First of all, here they got the fullback Ham in here, and they move Latavius Murray out wide. You see the confusion that creates on the defense for the Eagles, and while they're trying to sort it out, Kyle Rudolph's going to the back pylon, and he is wide open. Just a blown coverage based on the motion and the formation change by the Vikings offensively.
Rudolph's been hot. That's his 6th touchdown catch over the last 8 games. And this crowd is quiet. Seven 0 Vikings. And a good start on the road. Case Keenum. Kyle Rudolph. 7 0 Minnesota. See how the Vikings have come out of the gate hot. They've scored on the opening drive in 5 straight games, a 9-play drive, and so much for any worry of a hangover after last week's win over the Saints. The 25-yard touchdown, the length of that play eclipsed anything the Eagles defense allowed to Atlanta last Saturday night. Forbath will kick it away. We'll see how the Eagles can answer. Barner will take a knee, and we go back to the touchdown.
Well, you can see the Vikings, they go 21 personnel, 2 backs, 1 tight end, and when they motion out Latavius Murray, you see the reaction by the defense and the confusion as to how they're going to get this covered up. And Najee Good, number 52, is getting the start because of the injury to Donnell Ellerbe, and he has no idea what exactly he's doing in coverage, and by the time he realizes what's happening, it's too late. And they're trying to sort that out now because Latavius Murray is not a back that's much of a receiving threat. He only had 15 catches on the season, but just by motioning him out wide created a lot of confusion.
Play action from Foles out to his right, and the pass is caught for a first down. That's Nelson Aguilar, who figures to be busy as he will work against Newman and Mackenzie Alexander all night long.
Well, that's a nice way to start the game, kind of get Nick Foles out on the edge, an easy throw. Last week they started the game with a deep shot down the field, got a pass interference on Torrey Smith. They know that they've got to take some shots down the field, and I would expect to see something early in this ball game.
And here it Smith, pass incomplete. It was there, so was Trey Waynes. And Smith couldn't haul it in.
No, and Nick Foles makes a good throw, but a better throw would take Torrey Smith more towards the middle of the field and away from Trey Waynes. If that ball's thrown more towards the goalpost, he has a chance to use his speed to go get it. But even with that being said, right on the back shoulder pad, a ball that clearly should be caught. Boy, the Vikings are fortunate not to give up a big play there.
Pass is caught. Nelson Aguilar. And Anderson Dejo, who fought his way through the concussion protocol after getting knocked out cold last week against the Saints. And Michael Thomas is there to make the stop after a gain of 6. It's 3rd down and 4. And you look at this offense and the guys up front. This is a very underrated, very good offensive line.
Really good. And they're in the conversation as best in the league. I think a big part of that is because of Stefan Wisniewski stepping in week 4 at left guard. I think he really stabilized that left side of the offensive line.
Foles out to his right. Wide open, but out of bounds is Trey Burton. I mean, he was left all alone and could not get both feet down. It's incomplete.
I'm not sure why he jumps. At the end of this play, the ball it's a great throw. Just run through the catch and drag your feet. Burton, who actually stepped in at times this year when Zach Ertz was injured and played great. He really did a nice job at the start against the Rams, but boy, a well-thrown ball, a nice job by Foles, and I'm not sure why Burton was leaving his feet off the ground.
Donnie Jones has been at this a long time. His first championship game, and that'll be a flag. Fair catch was signaled by Sherrills, and Mac Hollins slammed right into him.
He just loses his place and runs into him, and that's going to tack 15 yards on.
Fair catch interference by the kicking team, number 18. That's a 15-yard penalty that's enforced from the spot of the foul, the flag. 15 yards, Minnesota keeps the ball, 1st down.
So the Vikings have it for the 2nd time. They lead by 7. Couple of missed chances for the Eagles on offense early. It's a live shot of Torrey Smith, who missed on what would have been a 54-yarder and maybe a touchdown, as this ball he couldn't haul in on the 2nd play from scrimmage, and he came over and explained himself to Nick Foles, with Carson Wentz sitting to Nick's left. 1st down for the Vikings, leading by 7 from the 29. Pass is incomplete as Stephon Diggs lost it going to the ground, and he had Ronald Darby on him.
Well, we saw last week, I was talking about it, the deep shot to Torrey Smith to open the game, and there was a strong wind last week, 20-25 miles an hour, and Foles wasn't able to get it out there far enough, and they got the pass interference. They had a chance there, and Torrey Smith was saying, hey, I got to make that catch. They've had a hard time getting Torrey Smith involved for a guy who can run the way he can on some of the bigger plays down the field.
Delayed handoff, and well played. That's Fletcher Cox on McKinnon. And Jerick McKinnon just back to the line of scrimmage. And how good was Fletcher Cox last Saturday night?
He's been great for a while. He's had a heck of a year. And he's a dominant guy in the middle, as we know. He's a big, physical, strong guy that can play the run like we just saw, and he can get an interior push on that pass rush. And that's why I say Mike Remmers, the left guard, he's got his hands full today.
3rd down and 10. Pass is caught by Diggs along the sideline for a 1st down. Stephon Diggs was there, and that ball was there right when he came out of his break. A completion of 12 yards.
You think Stephon Diggs had a fun week?
Oh.
After last week's game? That's a great job. He runs excellent routes. The timing on this throw, Keenum hits his back foot, he turns it loose, trusts what he sees, and he makes a perfect pass for a first down.
Latavius Murray dances away from a couple of tacklers, gets 2, and he's brought down by Fletcher Cox.
There's 8 guys within 5 yards of the ball right now, and they're loading up, and they're going to try to keep the Vikings from running the football. They have run it well, as we've seen here in the early going. Overall this year, they have not been a good running football team, but that doesn't stop them from trying. They're the second most rushing attempts in all of football this year.
Keenum throws, pass drop, Diggs. And then he gets hit in the back, and he grabs for it at the end of the play with a 3rd and 8 coming up. Adam Thielen spent the better part of the week dealing with a bad back. And Diggs a little slow to get up from that right knee in his back from Najee Good. Take a break, come back. 3rd and 8 when we return. Looks like Stephon Diggs is okay, but he has to come out on this 3rd and 8. Four men on the rush. Keenum throws, he's picked. Patrick Robinson back the other way. Looking for a block. Gets it. Robinson for the touchdown.
You're going to see Chris Long, defensive end. He's going to come off the edge, and he's able to get around Hill, and he gets Keenum's arm, it looked like, because the ball sure came out funny, him trying to get it to Thielen. And yeah, you see there as Chris Long comes in and hits the left arm and then into the chest, and it changes the throw, and he's not able to get enough on an underthrow interception.
It's a 50-yard return by Robinson, who had a career-high 4 interceptions this season. And the Minnesota Vikings have just given up 7 points off the turnover. This to tie it from Jake Elliott. 7-7. Crowd's back in it. This defense back in it. Patrick Robinson with a champ game memory. Well, this really good Philadelphia defense did not have a takeaway last Saturday night against the Atlanta Falcons. They get one here early. It's an interception return for a touchdown by Patrick Robinson. The Vikings were the only team during the regular season to not give up a touchdown when their offense was on the field, meaning no fumble return for a touchdown, no interception return for a touchdown against them, but it gets them here in the NFC champ game.
Yeah, and watch Ronald Darby here. He's basically out of the play, but he makes a key block on Jerick McKinnon that allows Patrick Robinson to get in the end zone. He comes back into the picture, and he makes the block there. McKinnon's got the angle on him, and that allows Robinson to punch it in. And this is an opportunistic defense. They've created a lot of takeaways throughout the year, and a big one here.
Diggs back out there for the Vikings. Handoff is to Murray, and a good run on first down.
They come out now, Minnesota, and Pat Shurmur's like, okay, let's try to settle things down and run the ball here on first down. But how does Case Keenum handle this? Last week when he had the interception, the Saints went down there and scored a touchdown, tightened up that ball game. You know, he came back and played really well. And I think he's wired to where he'll be just fine. That wasn't really on him so much as it was Rashad Hill and giving up the short edge, and Chris Long getting his hands on him.
Pressure on Keenum. He has to float it for Rudolph. It's incomplete. And Keenum ends up on his back. Every night this week, we've got huge matchups. During Super Hoops Week on FS1, Villanova, Michigan State, Xavier, and Arizona. The best in college basketball all this week on FS1. Now 3rd down and 6.
Well, it's a great 3rd down defense, as the Minnesota Vikings are as well. They brought Malcolm Jenkins, the Pro Bowl safety, on that last play, and Jim Schwartz does not bring pressure often.
More pressure. Pass is caught. Diggs finally brought to the ground with a gain of 1. It's 4th down. Malcolm Jenkins there for the stop. It took a moment to get Stephon Diggs down, but he finally went down to force the punt.
This Malcolm Jenkins is a heck of a football player. He was a 1st-round pick when he came into the league, and then he made the move to safety. He can cover, and typically great cover guys are not great tacklers, but when he made the transition to safety, he was all in, and he is all over the field for this Eagles defense. Comes up with a huge play on 3rd down.
Quigley hits it high, and a fair catch hauled in by Kenyon Barner after a 44-yard punt. We're in Philadelphia, home of the Eagles. We're tied at 7. As we welcome you back, we'll remind you what Chris Myers said at the beginning of the telecast, that indoor teams are 0-12 in conference champ games that are played outdoors.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about that, Joe, but I think this is a little different for Minnesota. I think they're built to be an outdoor team. They just happen to play indoors with this defense and the way that they want to run the football.
First carry of the game for an Eagle, and it's Ajayi. And the man traded from the Dolphins mid-season at the end of October gets 13 yards and a Philadelphia 1st down.
Well, Everson Griffin, who obviously is a great player for this Minnesota defense, he just is unable to contain. And Ajayi, he gets out on the edge and has a nice gain for their first rushing attempt. But pretty good feeling for old quarterback Nick Foles to come out and not really do a whole lot. And the next time you take the field, you've got a tie ball game.
Ajayi again. And a nice carry on 1st down as he gets 7, knocked down by Tom Johnson. When the Eagles got Ajayi at the end of October, they traded 4th-round pick that they had received from Minnesota in the Bradford trade before 2016. They had to make that deal because Teddy Bridgewater went down in August. They got Bradford, had a good year. Bradford played the first week of the season, was terrific against the Saints, but re-injured his twice operated on left knee and played only 1 more game. Here's a completion to Alshon Jeffrey. And it's kind of crazy how these staffs are related. The quarterbacks are close and former teammates, and Nick Foles and Case Keenum. And there's kind of a St. Louis Rams feel to the quarterback group for each side.
Yeah, and try to keep it all straight in your head. But with that, Joe, hey, these general managers, Rick Spellman for the Minnesota Vikings and Howie Roseman for the Philadelphia Eagles, what a year they've had. With trades and acquisitions, they've done a great job of allowing their team to have this success.
Aguilar gets it. They ran a similar play last week against Atlanta with much more success, and Aguilar ends up with no gain. Anthony Barr out there on the edge.
Well, Aguilar, yeah, he had just 1 rushing attempt all year. And then he comes into that playoff game last week. He has 2 rushing attempts in that one against Atlanta, one of which was a 21-yarder that set up a touchdown, and they come right back to it. They lost a lot when they lost Darren Sproles, and I think Aguilar, they've used him in some different ways. He gives them a dimension that these other running backs don't, trying to incorporate that into this offense.
Foles on second down, throws it over the middle, incomplete. Selleck, the long-time Philadelphia Eagle with Kendricks all over him, and Selleck couldn't bring it in. The injuries this season, and there have been some big ones. They lost their kicker after week 1, Darren Sproles in week 3. Their top special teams player, Chris Maragos, 9-time Pro Bowler in Jason Peters. They lost their middle linebacker in Jordan Hicks, another one in Joe Walker. Oh, and by the way, they lost him, the tremendous second-year quarterback Carson Wentz, on the 10th of December in LA. And so Foles is a quarterback on 3rd and 10. Over the middle, pass caught. That's Ertz. First down. Carson Wentz called Zach Ertz his security blanket, and Foles finds him here for 11.
Run an inside dig route, and they get Ertz into the middle of the field, and Waynes was in a position initially, if he's able to make a tackle on Ertz, he knows where he needs to get to and finds the hole within that zone coverage, and he's had himself a great year as well. Pro Bowl player, first time, led the team in receptions. Heck of a player.
Torrey Smith limped off after that last play. First down. Foles after the play action. There he is again. Another one to Ertz, a gain of 8 with Harrison Smith in coverage. Let's go back a play and see what happened to Torrey Smith.
Some of that footing on the outside that Mike Zimmer was talking about, and certainly our own Chris Myers, that on the inside with the resod, there's much better footing, and I've been in games like this. These receivers have problems out on the edge because that's the turf that has not been resodded, and it's pretty thin.
Handoff is to Blunt, and LeGarrette Blunt is able to force his way for a first down. 2-time Super Bowl champion LeGarrette Blunt, who had 18 touchdowns rushing a year ago for the Super Bowl champ New England Patriots, who are going back to the Super Bowl after their come-from-behind win over the Jaguars earlier today.
Pretty amazing. I mean, just the fact that here they had played in 7 consecutive AFC championship games, and that first half did not look so good for the New England Patriots the way Jacksonville was playing, but Tom Brady did what Tom Brady does.
Foles fires, pass caught, Jeffrey. And Foles has been on here to start this game. Gain of 9.
Well, talk about the run-pass option stuff that Philadelphia likes to run, and Foles is reading this out. He sees he's got off-corner, inside slant, and they've made a living on those throws this year.
Through 1, tied at 7 back after this from your local Fox station. And welcome back to Lincoln Financial Field, where the Eagles have been playing since 2003, so their 15th year here. Hosting its 3rd NFC championship game. The Eagles are 1-1 here. They're playing in their 7th overall. They're 2-4 and 2-2 at home. Dick Vermeil 1-0. Andy Reid was 1-4 in his time here. And now Doug Peterson has his Eagles in the championship game in his 2nd year. 2nd and 2. Blitz. Ajayi gets it. And well played by Minnesota. See where they mark it, but he looked about half a yard short of a first down, and it appears that's the case as Tom Johnson stuffed that play.
Yeah, 2nd and short, and they bring a run blitz with Anthony Barr, and he hits it. He hits it, times it perfectly, and he's able to get a little movement there and make Ajayi, redirect his route, and then here comes the purple helmets, and a good job. And this is an area where the Eagles have been good on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. And a lot of that earlier had to do with Carson Wentz and the quarterback keepers.
Foles keeps, pass caught, first down. Zach Ertz.
Well, they get Zach Ertz to the flat, and when you play man coverage and you expect to, when it's 3rd and 1, that you got to anticipate some of these rubs, and you're going to see that Mac Hollins comes in and he's able to create a little separation then for Ertz to be open in the flat.
3rd catch for Zach Ertz on this drive. First down from the 11. LeGarrette Blount. Touchdown! Just bowled his way in.
Brooks, their right guard, he's an outstanding player, and he makes a key block. Then it's one-on-one. It's Blount and Sendejo in the hole. One-on-one, who's going to win that? And there's your answer. LeGarrette Blount runs right through him.
14-7. And for Blount, his 10th career playoff game, his 10th rushing touchdown. And the big 250-pound back was not going to be denied. Eagles by 7. Well, Blount took it in from 11 yards out on the drive. Nick Foles completed a 3rd and 10 to Zach Ertz. For the Eagles, it's their first 3rd and 10 or more conversion since Carson Wentz went out in that game in LA. The team was 0 for 13 before that, between Foles and Sudfeld, who played in the Week 17 game, the meaningless one against Dallas. Watch your favorite NFL stars compete in an AFC versus NFC matchup at the 2018 Pro Bowl next Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern on ABC and ESPN. And don't miss the Pro Bowl Skills Showdown on Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN.
There's a lot of Pro Bowl players playing in this game for both teams, and it's a great honor, but no one playing today wants to be available next week for that game.
Those who are in the Super Bowl not eligible to play. Now first down from the 25. We'll see how the Vikings respond. Trailing for the first time, and they stay on the ground with Murray, and he's bottled up with a 1-yard gain. Vinny Curry out there on the edge. Vinny, big number 75, an Eagles fan who grew up in Neptune, New Jersey, about 90 miles from Lincoln Financial Field, is there holding down the edge. 2nd and 9. Diggs, and a decent completion on 2nd and 9. Forward progress will leave him 2 yards short of the first down, as Jalen Mills is there with a sure-handed tackle.
Well, as you would expect from Jim Schwartz, predominantly 4-man rushes. We've seen a little bit of pressure and time the quick passing game, and Jim Schwartz and his defense, they're used to that. When they come in, quarterbacks know they cannot hang on to the ball long, and so they see a lot of the quick passing game. Eagles able to rally after the catch, get him on the ground.
Just got it away on 3rd down and 2-0 there. Keenum under heavy pressure from Malcolm Jenkins. So after falling behind by 7, it's a 3-and-out.
Well, he comes off the edge, and we saw that earlier in the game that Jenkins came on the blitz. They have nobody there to pick him up. It's man coverage. They're running some of the crossing routes we saw last week against the Saints, hoping to free somebody up, but Keenum just simply did not have time to hang on to the ball and wait for anybody to come open. Third and short, and great job by the Eagles defense.
Line drive kick by Quigley sends Barner back around the 20 to the 30, and he got popped by Ben Gideon. 10 yards on the return. Eagles have the football and a 7-point lead. Well, there is Phil Basser, 99-year-old Eagles fan, a World War II veteran, a Korean War veteran. Attended his first game back in the 30s, 1936. Last week we showed you Millie Wall, a 99-year-old Vikings fan. The Eagles match it here at home. And now on first down, handoff is to LeGarrette Blount coming off that touchdown. He gets a couple brought down by Linval Joseph. 2nd and 8.
We talked about it, that this Minnesota defense, they are tough to run the football against, but the Eagles, the one thing they've done a good job of this year is running the ball, and they came into this game throughout the regular season leading the league in runs of 10 yards or more and runs of 20 yards or more, and we've seen a couple of those 10-yard runs already. Certainly the touchdown by LeGarrette Blount. They've done a nice job of springing them.
2nd down and 8. Foles fires, pass incomplete for Aguilar. Well, the Minnesota Vikings had the #1 ranked defense in the NFL this year. They're coming off a bad second half at home to the Saints last Sunday when they allowed 24 points and over 200 yards. They need to make a stop here on 3rd and 8.
Well, they got the Eagles now to 3rd and long, and the Vikings defensively, what they've done on 3rd down this year, historical numbers. I mean, teams were only converting 25%, best in the league. The Eagles, they've done a nice job. They did a good job last week against Atlanta as well. This is where Foles had some problems coming into the postseason.
On 3rd down, Foles has to pull it down. Now throws, has a man. 1st down, Zach Ertz. And Foles has been really sharp. Good for 15.
Well, what's great about this is he has to step up in the pocket and regroup because Danielle Hunter was coming off the edge, and so his platform of where he turned this ball loose was not with great balance. And so for him to be able to drive the ball to Ertz, who ran a tremendous route, getting open, is really, really good stuff by Nick Foles.
Late handoff to Ajayi. And he gets to midfield.
What you're going to see as Foles tries to step up in the pocket, his timing is thrown off because of the pressure by Hunter. And here comes Hunter around the corner, but he's able to kind of regather himself, and right there, throwing off the wrong foot, and he's able to get it out there on the edge against a good defense. That's great work keeping this drive going.
2nd down and 7. Foles gets hit, and that's incomplete. Eric Kendricks had pressure, and with his big brother Michael looking on from the other sideline, Kendricks bothered Foles and forced the incompletion.
You see there with Kendricks coming around, and I tell you, Foles had a shot down the field, and a little bit like what they tried to Torrey Smith on the 2nd play of the game. They get the safety to move, and he has a chance for a big play, and Kendricks saves that one.
Another 3rd and long. It's 3rd and 7, and Foles is ripped to the ground. Danielle Hunter. That'll force a punt, the sack, a loss of 6.
Well, they even give a chip with Clement to Danielle Hunter, and it jars him pretty good, but he just keeps playing, and he's able to come back into the fold. He takes Foles down.
7 sacks during the regular season for Danielle Hunter. Did not have one last week. Jones punts. Fair catch. Called for and hauled in by Marcus Sherrills after a 41-yard punt. Vikings get a stop on 3rd down, and it's Danielle Hunter who gets the sack. He is only in his mid-20s, and he's a two-time American League MVP with the Angels. The great Mike Trout from Millville, New Jersey. Eagles fan. Happy his Eagles are up by 7. Handoff is to McKinnon. He gets 2. Snooping around that Eagles sideline is Chris Myers. What are you seeing down there?
Yeah, Joe, I've been watching Nick Foles, and on this sideline, last week was the first time Carson Wentz, who had crutches then, was on the sideline for the entire game. He has a cane here, but each time he's come over and addressed Foles and, in a sense, helped to calm him down. Foles was telling me in the pregame, I have Doug Peterson in my ear. It's nice when I'm on the bench to have Carson Wentz near my ear and a bit of a role reversal.
2nd down and 8. Keenum has a wide open Stephon Diggs, who gets hit from behind by Malcolm Jenkins, but not before a big completion of 22 yards.
Well, you got to shore up the inside with Fletcher Cox. He draws 2 bodies, which he typically does. They show that they're going to throw the quick running back swing, and Diggs, who comes off like maybe he'll block, he comes up the sidelines, and just a blown assignment by the Eagles defensively.
McKinnon out wide to the top of the screen. Keenum was looking left, now over the middle, and now as he backpedals, he throws it away. He's outside the pocket, got to pass the line of scrimmage. It's 2nd and 10. Well, for the Vikings, they marched down the field on their opening drive, 9-play drive, 75 yards and a touchdown. Since then, the Eagles defense has an interception returned for a touchdown and forced 2 3-and-outs. Here is a toss to Jarius Wright. Not much. Wright brought down by Michael Kendricks, a gain of 4, so 3rd and 6 coming up.
Yeah, they tighten the splits. They go with a trip set, bunch formation, and tighten the splits, and it just looked like they were going to try to come with something that was just a little bit different, but the Eagles, very well coached, do a nice job in minimizing the game.
Laquan Treadwell checks in. Only 20 catches during the regular season. 1st-round pick a year ago. Keenum throws. He's got Diggs again. A couple of 1st-down completions to Stephon Diggs. This one for 8.
Pretty soft coverage out there on the outside. This was easy, as you see Stephon Diggs, and they're trying to run underneath it, but they've got the perfect call on for that look, and Jalen Mills, and that soft coverage that he was playing makes for an easy conversion.
Diggs already with 5 catches for 50 yards.
Pretty soft down here on Thielen as well. That's Ronald Darby.
Keenum keeps, looks that direction, pass is caught. Thielen. And with forward progress, that's enough for another Vikings 1st down.
Well, you're going to see the attention that Fletcher Cox gets after the game that he had last week. And anytime you play the Eagles, you better shore up the inside for your quarterback. And they have been able to hold up pretty well inside. And that's where Tim Jernigan, the other inside man, he's got to make a play for him. He's right here. He's getting the one-on-one looks.
Handoff to McKinnon. Takes it inside the 35. And a gain of 3. Coming up on 5.5 minutes left in this 1st half. Philadelphia gets the ball to start the 2nd half, and Doug Peterson has done a terrific job and really sets the tone with this team. They are not tight. They're loose in a good way. And he has found the right touch with Nick Foles at quarterback. 2nd and 7 here. Screen for McKinnon. Gets a couple of blocks. McKinnon with a 1st down near the 21. Went around Michael Michael Kendricks and was good for 13 yards on the catch and run.
This was set up so well, and Derek McKinnon, he's able to get the ball. He had 3 offensive linemen out in front leading the way, and I'll tell you, Pat Efline, the rookie center, does a great job.
They stay with McKinnon, who gets a yard on first down, maybe a yard and a half. Under 5 to go in this opening half of what figured to be a tight game, a low-scoring game coming in with these two quarterbacks facing these two good defenses. This will be the 10th play of this drive for the Vikings. Four first downs on this drive. McKinnon tried to make a move, and Kendricks wouldn't go for it. A good tackle by Michael Kendricks. There wasn't anybody else out there for the Eagles, and he forces third down after a gain of 4.
Yeah, that's a really good job by him, because Jerick McKinnon can be awfully slippery, and Michael Kendricks, he's got good speed. That's a good matchup for the Eagles. We'll see right now whether Jim Schwartz wants to dial something up and see if he can't create some type of negative play. They brought Malcolm Jenkins on the last third down.
And they bring pressure again. Ball is out. Recovered by Philadelphia. Knocked out by Derek Barnett.
Tried this protection earlier. Dave Morgan is going to come across and try to seal Derek Barnett, and it's just not much of a match. I mean, he gets there a little bit late. It creates the edge for Barnett to get there. The rookie from Tennessee, first-round pick. They needed to make a play. They're able to do it. It's the empty hand as Keenum starts to, before he comes forward, the ball's out, and what a great defensive play. And they needed it by this Jim Schwartz coach defense.
Chris Long gets the recovery on the fumble forced by the kid who broke Reggie White's sack record at Tennessee. Derek Barnett, big play. Second Viking turnover. Pass to Ajayi, runs into a log jam, and Jay Ajayi can't get away. First guy there was Mackenzie Alexander, a gain of 2, and we go back to the turnover.
Well, you're going to see Derek Barnett, and it's just one-on-one, and that is a tough block to make, because Barnett's not the fastest edge rusher in the world, but when he's got that kind of space and you're asking a big tight end to try to come across and get a guy like Barnett off the edge, that's a challenging block, to say the least, and we saw the results.
Second and 8, handoff is to Blunt. Daniil Hunter is there for Minnesota. A gain of 2, so another third down coming against one of the better third down defenses in the history of the league. As you alluded to earlier, Troy, regular season teams were 25.2% against them. Best mark in the league since the 1975 Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, and the Eagles here in this game, they've been good, and they haven't all been short yardage. The last third down they had was 3rd and long. They're able to pick it up.
Well, it'll be 3rd and 6 on the other side of the 2-minute warning. 14-7, Philadelphia. Well, there's a proud papa. Howie Long, he's seen his son Chris play a strong first half. Part of a Super Bowl championship team with the New England Patriots a year ago. On a 1-year deal with Philly. 3rd down and 6. Out of the backfield. Clemens spins away from a tackle and gets a big first down.
Tell you, Mike Zimmer got everything that he wanted. He gets the ball out of Foles' hands, and he's got Anthony Barr one-on-one on Clement to make the tackle, and if he does, he keeps him from picking up that first down. Barr just unable to make the play.
First catch for Clement. Here's Smith, who almost got away, but Eric Kendricks made the stop, a gain of 11.
Hey, that was close too, boy, because that's what happens, and they bring pressure, and there was nobody there. He's able to make him miss.
All 3 timeouts left for Philadelphia. Foles airs it out downfield. No one's there. But it stops the clock with 1:25 remaining. Nick Foles is a former third-round pick by Andy Reid. He went to the Pro Bowl with his head coach, Chip Kelly, the following year when he had 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and his offensive coordinator is Pat Shurmur in 2013. He's on the other sideline now, the OC for the Vikings and the future head coach, it appears, for the New York Giants.
Well, Pat Shurmur he's really done an outstanding job.
Second and 10. Foles protected. Now the protection gives way. And with Mac Hollins the target, incomplete. Third down and 10, and the Vikings, if they can get a stop, will think about using a timeout.
Yeah, he thought that it looked like he might have had a chance to Zach Ertz, and I know Ertz was coming across thinking that he was open, and but Anthony Barr, he was able to get underneath that throw and keep Foles from turning it loose. So Mike Zimmer, again, got him into third down. This is where he's really good, and he does a lot of different things out of this third and long situation, and one of them is hug up these linebackers.
Xavier Rhodes on the bench, not out there on third down and 10. And Foles able to get away and throw. Pass is caught. Jeffrey, touchdown.
You're going to see the pressure, first of all, by Everson Griffin. Normally, a quarterback holds the ball this long. You are not going to get the ball down the field. And there's a double move on Terrence Newman. Alshon Jeffrey, he runs the square in and go. And Foles sees it kind of late and is able to get it out to him.
I don't know how Foles was able to get away from the pressure. Griffin was there, got a hand on him, couldn't bring him down, and it's a 53-yard touchdown pass on third and 10 to Alshon Jeffrey to make it 21-7, and we'll be right back after this about the Daytona 500 on Fox. Well, Nick Foles has been outstanding and somehow got out of trouble on third and 10.
No question. I mean, they had him, but he's able to keep it alive. And Terrence Newman, the reason he's on him is because Xavier Rhodes is over on the sidelines. Rhodes is matching up with Alshon Jeffrey in this ball game, and they get the 39-year-old on Alshon. He's expecting the ball to come out on the dig route. Alshon keeps going, but credit Foles for keeping that play alive, because Griffin and a lot of others were right back there in his lap.
We understand that Xavier Rhodes, they were looking at his foot on the sideline. And here's Foles, who escaped the pressure, kept his eyes downfield, and found the wide open Jeffrey.
And to have the arm strength, I mean, he hits him in stride. I mean, he's open, but that's not easy to do when you're that late on the throw, and it's pretty much all arm. What a great job.
The Eagles now with that touchdown on third and 10 are 5 for 7 against the Vikings.
Yeah, third downs too, and that hits Mike Zimmer right in the gut, because they have been great all year on that down.
Out of the backfield, it's McKinnon, and out on the edge, it's Corey Graham to force him out. Chance here for the Vikings, 3 timeouts, over a minute on the clock, and a gain of 2 by McKinnon. Just one final point before we refocus on Keenum. They wanted Foles to play loose, get in a rhythm, not think too much. He's been great in this game.
It's working.
2nd and 8. There's McKinnon again out of the backfield and forced out of bounds, short of the first down by Corey Graham for the 2nd consecutive play, a gain of 5.
Well, this was kind of the formula, really, for Philadelphia this year. They got out to a lot of big leads, beat people pretty good, made them throw the football, kind of abandon their running game a little bit. Obviously, this is not the style of play that Minnesota wants to have. A lot of football left, of course, in this ball game, but it'd be nice if the Minnesota Vikings could pull something off.
Here's Jarius Wright. What a good throw and catch for a first down over the middle.
And that's a good start with Jarius Wright. By keeping this drive alive, maybe they can go down and come away with some points here to end this half. That's a nice throw by Case Keenum.
Vikings take their first time out. Considered the league's most prestigious honor, the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award, presented by Nationwide, recognizes NFL players who have made a significant impact both on the game and in their communities. Earlier today, Greg Olson, Benjamin Watson, and J.J. Watt were announced as finalists for this year's award in honor of their work as humanitarians and with their leadership on the field. This year's winner will be announced at the NFL Honors Show February 3rd at 9 Eastern on NBC. First down, Vikings. Again, McKinnon. Again, Graham along the sideline, and McKinnon gets 4.
Well, anytime you get the ball into Jerick McKinnon's hands, that's a good thing. And you know, we've talked a little bit about some of the injuries that both these teams have had. And for Minnesota, when they lost Dalvin Cook in the 4th game of the season, they lost a real threat running the football and receiving, and McKinnon can do some of those things.
Keenum fires high for Diggs, and he had him. Stephon Diggs had found a hole in that secondary, but Keenum missed him, and it's 3rd and 6. Turnovers have been the story. Keenum was hit by Chris Long when he threw the pick 6 to Patrick Robinson, and then he fumbled for just the 2nd time all season on a hit by Derek Barnett, recovered by Chris Long, that led to the touchdown. Now 3rd and 6. Keenum in trouble, steps through, fires, and incomplete for Rudolph. Almost a miraculous completion to Kyle Rudolph. The throw was a little wide as Keenum was on his way to the ground. It's 4th down.
Well, we've certainly seen Malcolm Jenkins on some 3rd down pressures, but this is a defense that doesn't have to do that. And when they're getting to the quarterback with 4 guys like they do there, it makes it awfully tough on the quarterback with pressure in your face. It's the way the old Eagles used to do it with Reggie White and Clyde Simmons and the rest of that crew. 4-man rushes and playing coverage behind it makes it awfully hard.
Good punt here by Quigley, but it hops into the end zone. Vikings had a chance to down it, could not. It comes out to the 20. Turnovers, a big story in this first half. There's the pick 6 for Patrick Robinson as he got it into the front corner of the end zone, and then the fumble. The Vikings driving down by 7. It led to this. The deep throw to Alshon Jeffrey. 53 yards on 3rd and 10 to make it 21-7. 29 seconds left. 3 timeouts for the Eagles, who received the second half kickoff on top of all this. Looked like a lateral to Ajayi. First down. Visa halftime is coming up with the guys down on the field. They'll break down this first half. They'll give you highlights from the AFC Championship game and an interview between Christina Pink and Danny Amendola, one of the heroes of Tom Brady's crew.
Well, that second half of last week's game for Minnesota showed that this defense is human. And the Eagles have come out here in this first half, and they've done a nice job. Nick Foles has, and I'm not sure halftime's long enough for all that Mike Zimmer's going to want to say there.
Still no Xavier Rhodes out there. On first down, the pass is wide open to Ertz. And Foles couldn't be playing any better. 36 yards to Zach Ertz, and they're into field goal range.
Well, Ertz, he runs a little bit of an out and up, and Harrison Smith just gets fooled. And they've just lost receivers now a couple times. The touchdown to Alshon Jeffrey, now you're giving up a big play with just seconds left in the half. And that's just not characteristic of what this defense has been about.
Xavier Rhodes is now back out there at the top of the screen. He's bothered by a toe injury. Sendejo is not out there for Minnesota. Here's Ajayi with blocking. Inches inside the 20. And with 4 seconds left, the Eagles take a timeout.
A great job. That's a great job of setting it up. They get the play to Ertz. They come back to Ajayi with the screen. That was Wisniewski out there. Vaitai seals the edge. To be able to get in a position at the end of this half to come away with some points and extend this lead, that is huge.
I just don't think the Eagles could have hoped for Nick Foles to play any better. He's over 200 yards passing and has a quarterback rating of 113.4. He's had a couple of drops on top of that as Jake Elliott comes out to try a 38-yarder to make it a 17-point game, which it was what it was a week ago with the Vikings over the Saints at half.
And the Eagles get the ball to start the second half.
Drills it. What a half for the Eagles here at home. They lead by 17. Back after this from your local Fox station. You look at the first half stats. It was just a terrific first half of football for the Philadelphia Eagles as we welcome you back inside the broadcast booth. I'm Joe Buck with the Hall of Famer Troy Aikman. I don't think the Eagles could have played any better than they did in that first half. How does Minnesota get back into this game?
Well, I think they can still stick to what they're doing, but if you look at the first half and you say, okay, what have the Vikings been about all year long? They've been about great defense, running the football, and protecting the ball, not turning it over. And they didn't do any one of those three things, and they find themselves now down 24-7, and they can still stick to their game plan, but at some point, they're going to have to start throwing the ball, and that plays right into the hands of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Garner will take a knee. The drive will start at the 25, and we say hello again to Aaron Andrews.
Troy just took the words out of Mike Zimmer's mouth. He said, we would have some points on the board. We've been moving it. These turnovers have killed us. Here offensively, he said they're going to continue to try to run the ball, but they have to take care of it. Defensively, I asked him what was the first thing he addressed. He said, we haven't been good on third downs, and we've missed a lot of tackles. Of course, he did tell us they wanted to get Nick Foles out of a rhythm. He said, we've got to throw everything at this guy here in the second half.
Yeah, coming into the game, Aaron, he told all of us he wanted to hit Foles early to let him know what kind of a day it was going to be. So far, it's been Nick Foles' day. He throws, pass is caught out on the edge, and a quick tackle by Trey Waynes on Torrey Smith. Chris Myers, what did you learn?
Well, Joe, Doug Peterson told his team at halftime, hey, remember last week what happened in that Saints-Vikings game about the comeback, so do not ease up. An early defensive adjustment with the corners and disguising things after that first Viking drive has made a difference, and he said that Nick Foles is playing lights out, so Chris, you can mark it down. We're going to continue to be aggressive here in the second half.
Doug Peterson is aggressive, period. Pass is caught. That's Smith again. And Smith has got enough for a first down. How about this Minnesota defense? The #1 scoring defense in the league this year. And you see what happened in that first half. All season highs, and they've now allowed 24 points in back-to-back halves.
Well, they had their worst half of football all season long, and that's not the way you want to do it in the NFC Championship game. And I like what Doug Peterson has come out and done here on first and second downs.
Here's Ajayi, runs into Selleck, and Jay Ajayi ends up with a gain of 3, knocked down by Terrence Newman.
You know, we heard Chris Myers say that he's going to continue to stay aggressive, and anyone who's been around Doug Peterson understands that. That's what he has done. And they come out, and you would generally think you got a 17-point lead, you're going to run the football to start this second half. They come out and they have 2 good completions and keep Nick Foles in his rhythm. Now, Mike Zimmer did bring Terrence Newman on a blitz on first down. We'll see. Here he comes. He's going to try to start creating some havoc because Foles has been way too comfortable.
That's Barr coming on a blitz. Got there a step late. Pass caught by Jeffrey for another first down. And Foles is slow to get up. He got popped by Anthony Barr.
Yeah, he did. And this is one that you're exposed when you make this throw. He reads it perfectly and gets what he wants. Knows he's got to get it out, knows he's going to take a hit, and he throws a perfect strike.
Their backup is Nate Sudfeld, a second-year pro from Indiana. Last year he was with Washington. He got into a game week 17 against Dallas, but he's green. He's young and inexperienced.
They stack these guys down here.
Ajayi, good run on first down. Aaron Andrews, what have you learned about Andrew Sendejo?
Well, Andrew Sendejo is doubtful to return with a calf injury, but Joe, he doesn't even have his helmet with him. Of course, last week he left the game with a concussion. Don't know if the Vikes are going to get him back now.
He was lost in the second half on that hit by Michael Thomas, was out cold. Passed the concussion protocol, but now he's got a calf.
Well, now they put Anthony Harris in for Sendejo, and he's the guy who has played for Sendejo. He came in off the bench last week, did a good job.
Blunt wrapped up by Newman, the 39-year-old corner. Terrence Newman, who's playing in his 231st game in his first championship game, made that stop.
Yeah, and he's going to get a little more playing time and has in this ball game. There's such a trust. In his 15 seasons, 9 of those have been with Mike Zimmer as the defensive play caller, and he is a very accomplished tackler. He's done a nice job in his career as a cover guy. Got beat earlier in this ball game with Alshon Jeffrey with Rhodes out of the game, but he'll stick his nose in there and make some hits.
Just got it away. Smith out on the edge. Smith close to a first down. Looks like he got it. And it is enough, says Ed Hockley, for a fresh set of downs as Harris made the tackle.
I'll tell you, Doug Peterson really doing a nice job again tonight and has all year. And just his second full season of calling plays. And what all does that entail? Well, you got to prepare during the week, and you've got to be one step ahead and willing to take some chances and really understand the mindset of the defensive coordinator that you're going up against. And he's been one step ahead of Mike Zimmer all night.
The Eagles are 6 for 8 on third down. Flea flicker. Foles launches downfield. Smith. Touchdown.
Talked about it coming into this game. Torrey Smith, they've had a hard time this year really getting him involved in the deep balls, and you see that he slow plays it coming off the line. He takes off. Harrison Smith, normally he has the range to make this play. He's not able to get there, but how about the throw by Nick Foles? Again, he has to gather himself in the pocket, and that's the only place that Torrey Smith can make a play on the ball before Harrison Smith gets there.
Torrey Smith with 4 catches on the drive and the 41-yarder as Clement tossed it back to Foles. for Nick Foles and the Eagles. 31-7. And number 9 having a game. Smith just got it in. 31 unanswered points. Nick Foles was 5 for 5 on that drive on the opening effort. After halftime, he is completing passes at 74% as a 131.1 quarterback rate. And the lead is 24 points. The drive will start for the Vikings, and they have to get to work at the 25. Jay Glazer is with us. Pat Shurmur, the offensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings. You have news on Pat Shurmur, Jay.
Well, you're just saying that the Vikings offense has to go to work. If it doesn't go to work enough for them to win this game, then Pat Shurmur will have a new job here in the next 48 hours. He'll be the next head coach of the New York Giants. Probably go down there, get that announced, and then go down to the Senior Bowl to possibly scout out their next quarterback.
Jay, thanks from the 25. Pass to Murray out on the edge, and he's back to the line of scrimmage. That's it. Jay, finish up.
Hey, I was just talking about the quarterback. They do intend, however, to go with Eli Manning next year as the quarterback. The reason why they want to Pat Shurmur is they want a guy to possibly resurrect Eli for another year or so, but also get the quarterback of the future as well. Who better than Pat Shurmur? Despite this game, he's done a great job with a few of the quarterbacks in this game.
Bradford, who's on the bench, to Keenum, to Foles. He's coached them all. 2nd and 10. Pass caught by McKinnon. Good block in front of him, and McKinnon has got a first down. 13 yards on the catch and run by Jared McKinnon.
Well, you try to at least, thwart the momentum that has been established by this Eagles team, and that was big in order to keep this drive going, get the ball to McKinnon. And it's imperative right now that this Vikings offense gets something going. And we talked to Mike Zimmer in the event that Foles or this offense was struggling. Would he make a change at quarterback?
Here's McKinnon on a draw. And he's got 9.
And Joe, he told us he would not. That, certainly Case Keenum has earned the right to play throughout this ball game, but he has also told us at other times Sam Bradford is the best pure passer they have on the team. Now, he hasn't played much, but when he did play week 1, he played awfully well, and it's worth at least discussing or throwing out there.
Hand off to McKinnon. First down. But going into last week, you asked him, is there a chance that Bradford could play? And he said, well, if we need to make up some ground in the second half, that's why I'm activating Bradford. But coming into this game, he said, I'll ride Case Keenum unless it's catastrophic. And it's might not be catastrophic, but it's not good. Keenum for right. Wide open, trying to stay in bounds and just cannot. Jarius Wright takes it down to the 18-yard line.
That's a nice design on that route. They run the outside receiver on a 9 route, just right up the sideline, clears out that zone, over across the field on the deep crosser. It's a big gain. You need those chunks. The Eagles have been able to get them offensively. The Vikings have struggled, but they got one there to right.
Officially 33 yards. Pass to Thielen is out of bounds. Adam Thielen, who had 91 catches during the regular season, had 6 for 74 against the Saints, has been quiet.
Well, last week when the Vikings had a 17-point lead against the Saints, and you say, wow, that's going to be hard to come back from for the Saints against that defense. Well, the same holds true trying to come back against this Eagles defense now with reverse for Minnesota, but this is a nice drive. They need to finish it off.
2nd and 10. Keenum stays upright and gets rid of it to avoid the sack. Brandon Graham was in there for Philadelphia.
Yeah, Brandon Graham, he's gotten back there a few times, and he's able to make a move, and he's working against Riley Reif. Actually, excuse me, that's Benny Curry. Graham comes around off the opposite side, but 4-man pressure gets to him.
Player down for the Vikings. We'll take a break. They're checking the left ankle or foot of Pat Elflein, who got rolled up a moment ago. So Joe Berger moves to center, and Jeremiah Searles comes in at right guard. 3rd down and 10. Pass is caught by McKinnon, and he is spun down close to first down yardage. It looks like they're going to give him enough forward progress for a first down, and they are.
Well, Jim Schwartz, he decides to bring pressure, and Case Keenum knows it, and he's got to get the ball out, and he's able to make a good throw. McKinnon comes out of the backfield. He's got an option there. He takes the post. A big conversion.
1st and goal. Pass is incomplete for Jarius Wright. Jalen Mills, who's had a good year at corner for the Eagles, was right there. 2nd and goal.
Yeah, that was well played. We saw last week the Eagles got picked off a few times, and Jim Schwartz, he doesn't like that. Even in man coverage, it's hard on these defensive backs. Jalen Mills navigates that slot receiver and defender and is able to drive on that ball and break it up.
He was there defending Julio Jones at the end of the game last week on that 4th and goal play in the end zone.
Keep an eye on Rudolph here.
2nd and goal. Keenum to the end zone. Thielen incomplete. Darby right there in coverage.
So they're trying to get the corner route versus that man look, and just nowhere to really put the ball. Thielen never gets Darby on his heels. So Darby's able to continue to run in stride with him and nowhere to put it. Darby, he's had a nice year too. They picked him up from Buffalo, one of those guys that they traded Jordan Matthews for. Had a history with Jim Schwartz, missed 8 games, but he's played well.
3rd down and goal. Thielen missed him. It's 4th down. And we'll see what Mike Zimmer wants to do. Where it's 4th and goal. His team down by 24. The offense stays out there. You're going to hear some noise now. Keenum, end zone. Pass is caught by Thielen. Unbelievable touchdown. Off his hands and then caught it flat on his back.
Well, let's see if he did catch it. This was a juggling act.
Oh, that bounced.
Sure did.
Watch this ball bounce right there.
Field is touchdown.
The ruling on the field is touchdown, but that will not stand up.
Well, the good news for the Eagles is they ruled it a touchdown, so now it gets reviewed automatically rather than Doug Peterson having to challenge the call.
Hello, honey, I'm home now.
So they'll review it. And the Eagles know they're going to take over with the ball inside their own 10. And the touchdown and the points will come off the board for Thielen and the Vikings.
That was a heck of an effort. Didn't look like you had any chance initially to make that play, but pretty obvious.
Mike Pereira is with us in the booth, and Mike, that's a no-doubter, right?
That's a no-doubter, and I was just thinking about this is a playoff game that you like to see. There's only been one penalty.
The ball did hit the ground. The pass was incomplete. The ball goes over and downs to Philadelphia at the 8-yard line. First down.
And that's our first replay stoppage of the game. It's the kind of football we like to see. Plus, you haven't had to hear from me all game. So it's really good playoff football, that's for sure.
The Eagles take over, leading by 24. There's a Philly guy, Bradley Cooper, who is here. Good friends with Jeffrey Lurie, who's in his 23rd season after taking over in the 1995 season with the Eagles. And Charles Barkley is with us, watching football, thinking about his golf swing, and watching the Eagles dominate this game as they take over at the 8.
He's pontificating about something out there in that booth. What a great sports fan he is.
Here's Ajayi, right side, out near the 12. Vikings had a 1st and goal at the 8 through 4 straight incompletions. Turn it over on downs, and you can watch your favorite NFL stars compete. The AFC versus NFC matchup at the 2018 Pro Bowl next Sunday at 3 Eastern on ESPN and ABC. And don't miss the Pro Bowl Skills Showdown on Thursday at 9 Eastern on ESPN. 2nd and 6. Ajayi left side, Robinson there to make the stop, a gain of 1. Look at these numbers as they start to pile up against Mike Zimmer's defense. Points allowed the last 5 quarters, 55. The previous 14 quarters, 17. I don't think anybody expected this showing by Zimmer's defense here in Philly.
Absolutely not. And the Eagles, who, we talked about Nick Foles wanting the up-tempo, it gets him going. They have slowed it completely down, and rightfully so, on this possession.
5 to go, 3rd quarter. Foles out to his right, finds Ertz. He's had a big game, and out to the 20 with another 1st down. Only 2 tight ends with over 50 yards receiving against this Vikings defense all year long, and Zach Ertz is up to 82.
Well, what happens is they put Nelson Aguilar right here, and they run him here, and you're going to see that the linebackers, they don't then pick up Ertz. He acts like he's going to the flat. He comes back underneath it. Linebackers are concerned with Aguilar, and he's going across the formation. A good look offensively that allows them to convert.
Ajayi on 1st down. Gain of 5. Doug Peterson in his 2nd year had this quote: "We've been kicked to the curb since Carson got hurt." And that's a reference to Carson Wentz going down with a torn ACL December 10th in Los Angeles. There he is, one of the brightest futures in the league. But the present has Nick Foles at quarterback, and Doug Peterson has rallied this team around number 9.
It's a great job of coaching by him and the entire staff. Nick Foles has got a good support group with Frank Reich there in that meeting room, and of course Carson Wentz, and Doug Peterson has held it all together.
Ajayi back to the line of scrimmage and forward for a yard and a half.
We talked to Doug Peterson on Friday about it, and last week, and he played the underdog card with the team and made sure that everybody knew. And I asked him, okay, you come into this week as an underdog, what was your messaging to the team this week? He said it was the same thing. We're letting people know, we're letting our players know that nobody has given us the respect that they had earned as the number 1 seed. And I'll tell you right now, they are playing awfully well against this Minnesota Vikings defense. We'll see if Foles can keep it alive.
This is a home 3-point underdog. The Eagles leading by 24. Foles. Aguilar. Inside the 40, out of bounds at the 35, and another completion from number 9.
We've seen man-to-man coverage, and we've seen the double moves. And when the defensive backs, when we've seen them, they're looking into the backfield. So Aguilar comes out, and as soon as Waynes then looks into the backfield, or Aguilar's up the sideline, and you're in man coverage, he's looking for the ball. And they have double moved them now several times. Joe, we came into this game talking about Nick Foles, and he had 1 completion since he took over as a starter that he threw the ball over 20 yards. Today, he's got 3 or 4, and they have had big plays throughout this game.
324 yards passing for Foles. And this Minnesota Vikings team cannot get any stops on third down. Philadelphia is 8 for 10 on third down.
Yeah, and big plays. I mean, we've seen touchdowns thrown down the field on third down, and they haven't, like I said, all been third and short. Some of them been third and long, and it's pretty remarkable. And I know that the Eagles were good on third down offensively, but they were not good for the most part under Nick Foles at quarterback, and they have torched this defense that has historical good numbers on third down.
Now 2nd and 12. Pass complete. That's Burton. Burton's got another first down.
Well, Mike Zimmer, he talked to Aaron Andrews coming out at half and said that we're not tackling well, and they generally do a good job, but they haven't. There's been a lot of yards after the catch, missed opportunities, and it has continued on this drive.
Foles has now found 7 different receivers. And just to put a number to it, Foles has 4 completions of 35 yards or more in this game.
How about that? That's why they're leading by 24.
Here's a toss to Clement. Avoided a tackle, has another first down. But a flag is down at the 20. Only the 2nd penalty of this game.
It's on Minnesota, right?
Eagles indicate it's against Minnesota. We'll
Illegal
see.
hands to the face by the defense, number 91. That's a 5-yard penalty that's enforced from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
That's Stephen Weatherly, and he goes to the helmet on Zach Ertz.
And with 32 seconds left in quarter number 3, it moves the ball inside the 10 to the 5.
Kind of goes to show you, Joe. I came into this game thinking we were going to have a 14-10 game with these two defenses, and you look at it, we're not even out of the third quarter, and the Eagles have put up 31. They're about to put up some more.
Giant. Down to the 1. And that'll do it for the first 3 quarters here in Philadelphia, where the home crowd is having a blast. Back after this from your local Fox station. Welcome back to Lincoln Financial Field, about to start the final quarter here in Philadelphia. We know the New England Patriots are in the Super Bowl. The Eagles on their way to joining them. This ties already for the most points the Vikings have allowed all year. Ajayi wrapped up in the backfield. So now 3rd down and goal, and Nick Foles has thrown for 336 yards. He's over 300 yards for the first time since October of 2014.
Pretty incredible. Last week, Drew Brees had over 300 yards passing, most of that coming in the second half. And you think coming into this one, yeah, but that's Drew Brees, and that's not Nick Foles. And both these quarterbacks came into this game with a chance to change the narrative of their careers, and Nick Foles has seized the opportunity.
On 3rd down and goal, Foles surveys, fires, touchdown Alshon Jeffrey.
we saw Xavier Rhodes is going to be on Alshon Jeffrey in man coverage, but they were in zone, so Trey Waynes is on him, and he gets inside of Waynes, and Foles gives him a ball up high, and Jeffrey, with his size, able to make the catch.
Well, if it was true last week, and now we got a flag, there's a fight on the field. A flag is two players at least started to shove. And they are able to separate the players. And Mike Zimmer is out there making sure that nothing gets out of hand. In what's obviously a frustrating game for this Minnesota team. Bo Allen was out there, and then a hit from Anthony Barr on Brett Selleck is what started all that.
Well, we don't need any of that. I mean, both these teams have clearly had great years, and it's why they're playing in this game. And there's no question that the Vikings are highly disappointed to be playing the way that they're playing. But
after the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, Minnesota, number 55. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
It's a 31-point game. And we'll take a break. What a night for the Eagles and their fans. Well, here in Philadelphia, they're doing the Skol, at least hand motion with the chant, but they've changed the word to Foles, we're told from those down on the field. Nick Foles on third down alone is 9 for 10 with a perfect quarterback rating. Meanwhile, speaking of great quarterbacks, a guy who's about as close to perfect as they get with what he does in big games, Danny Amendola, the Patriots advance. They beat the Jaguars 24-20. They were down double digits in the second half. It's their 10th Super Bowl in franchise history, and they'll try to tie the Pittsburgh Steelers for the most ever. There was a flag on that kick. They've won 5 Super Bowls, and that combination of Bill Belichick and Brady is the best this league's ever seen with regard to that.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, Philadelphia. 15 yards from the dead ball spot, first down.
So they trade personal fouls. The Patriots have 3 of the last 4 double-digit fourth-quarter comeback wins in the postseason. They were down 20-10 today. They won 24-20. Super Bowl 51, they were down 28-9 and won 34-28 in overtime. In Super Bowl 49, they trailed 24-14 and won 28-24. Here's the call for that headbutt. A couple of them, actually 2 of them. One was Watkins, the other was Clement.
You talk about the Patriots and their accomplishments. I mean, it is comical how good that they have been. I mean, what can you say? What can you say about that team and that head coach and that quarterback that hasn't already been being said for many, many years?
Keenum back out there on first down. He finds Diggs. And Diggs is wrapped up after a gain of 4.5 by Nigel Bradham. The Vikings took the opening kickoff and marched down the field 75 yards, 9-play drive. Since then, 38 unanswered points. It was started by the defense. Right for a first down.
And hey, the Vikings offensively, you know, they haven't been all that good. You know, I mean, they haven't been as good as they'd like to be, but that part of it really is pretty inconsequential because of how poor the Vikings defense has been.
Pass is behind Rudolph. 2nd and 10. The greatest day in all of racing returns this February The Daytona 500 kicks off the new season, President's Day weekend, only on Fox.
You going to the Daytona 500 this year?
I am not going to be at the Daytona 500 this year. I'll be watching at home. As Richie Zients, our producer, who's here in Philadelphia with us, doing his usual great job with Rich Russo directing. Z will be there. 2nd and 10 blitz. Keenum steps up, fires high, and nearly picked by McLeod.
Well, once again, Chris Long, pickup he was. For this defense, he comes off the edge, and he's the one who disrupts Case Keenum once again and forces him to not be able to get through the throw and deliver it high.
3rd down and 10. Keenum has to take off. He'll take it inside the 40, but he's short of the 1st down. Gain of 8. Jalen Mills stopped him. Timeout. We'll take a break too. 4th and 2 when we come back. How about this pair? Jeffrey Lurie being saluted by Charles Barkley. This man's not terrible. 4th and 2.
Jeff Lurie's done a great job for this organization over his years of ownership.
6th NFC Championship game for Jeffrey Lurie. On 4th down, Keenum wrapped up, got it away, and the Eagles take over. And there was Fletcher Cox yet again. What a postseason he's had.
What a career he's had.
We'll be right back after this message from State Farm.
That's Fletcher Cox, and you know the athletic ability for a man his size and the challenges that he presents. We talked about the emphasis they have on him coming into this game, and he has been turning it loose and pretty good coverage on the other end. There's some of the frustration that's coming out, and not easy when you realize your season is about to conclude.
Diggs and Mills, they were separated before anything escalated. Ajayi just short of the 45. Kendricks on the stop, a gain of 4. Here's the night in possessions for the Eagles. It's been so impressive. We came in talking about a matchup of 2 terrific defenses and then this unlikely quarterback matchup. The Eagles have won both those battles. The defense has been better. The quarterback's been better. Here's Blunt. Flag on the play.
It's usually in the area of a hold.
Holding, offense, number 87. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
They get Brent Selleck on a hold.
About the worst thing that's happened to this offense here in this game. You know, we talked a little bit earlier about Doug Peterson and his job as a play caller, and been all year long. He's just done a terrific job. There's the hold they got Brent Selleck. He didn't like it. I didn't really see a whole lot there, but I just think that again today, knowing that he had to come up with some ways to get Foles going with some shots down the field, and right from the 2nd play of the game, they were taking them, and this time they were connecting.
Here's a screen for the tight end, Zach Ertz. Ertz, who is headed to his first Pro Bowl, at least a part of that team. He won't be playing in that Pro Bowl unless the miraculous happens for the Minnesota Vikings, as the Eagles will be paired up against the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 52 in Minneapolis, where the Vikings were trying to stamp their ticket for a home Super Bowl game for the first time in NFL history during the Super Bowl era. Third down and 12. The Eagles 9 for 11 on third down, 82%.
Well, I'd expect the Eagles just to run the ball here, but they're going to call a timeout and see if they can't sort it out.
So win this 31-point game, it'll be third down and 12. And they'll talk it over. I'm Joe, that's Troy, and this has been really impressive by the Eagles. And if they like relishing that underdog role, they were a home dog to Atlanta, they won. They were a home dog coming into this game. They're blowing out the Vikings, and you would expect they'll be the underdog going into Super Bowl 52. But I think Doug Peterson kind of likes it that way.
Yeah, and so does Amazon, because those German Shepherd masks are going to sell those things out, for the next 2 weeks before they get to Minneapolis.
Good call. Yeah, it was Lane Johnson and Chris Long who broke those out last week. Third down and 12. Here's Ertz. Griffin makes the stop. It's fourth down.
Well, it wasn't a run, but it was a high percentage pass, and not thinking that they're really going to be able to pick up that yardage, but maybe they might. Gives them a better chance than just simply handing it off. But right now, Doug Peterson, all he wants to do is keep this clock running.
Doug Peterson, who was the quarterback's coach here in Philadelphia for Andy Reid, 2011, 2012. Went to Kansas City with Andy 2013 to 15. 21 and 12 overall as head coach of Philadelphia. What a job he's done. Sherrill's back just inside the 10. They're all out. There are those masks. 38-7. This crowd's having a blast singing "Won't Back Down" by the late great Tom Petty. 9:39 left in the game. Vikings have it, down 31. Starting from the 10. Keenum, Thielen. Hey, two of NFL Film's most distinguished cameramen are retiring middle of February. That's Donnie Marks, known for that signature shot of the ball spiraling through the air into a receiver's hands, and Bob Angelo, who you just saw a moment ago, as McKinnon is able to bounce that for a first down. Bob, known for his signature work on the wire and the sound crews and getting the shots at the bench. These guys are true artists, and we have all enjoyed their great work. Donald Marks, Bob Angelo, retiring middle February, and they will be missed. Here is McKinnon on a catch and run on first down. Picks up 7.
As you look at these Vikings, Joe, as they are obviously in a hurry up, most teams only carry 2 quarterbacks. This team has 4, and the only one of the 4 that's signed after this year is their rookie.
That's Kyle Sloter. And so they have decisions to make on Case Keenum, Sam Bradford, and Teddy Bridgewater, as Keenum gets a hit at the end of that play as they pick up the first down. Top 3 guys are all free agents to be. McKinnon able to get to the sideline to stop the clock for a moment out to the 45.
There's some decisions that Rick Spielman, the general manager, he's going to have to make, along with Mike Zimmer. Where do you go? And they like Teddy Bridgewater a whole lot, and they have a lot invested in him, and I like him as well, but he hasn't completed a pass in over 2 years, and you know, what exactly do they have with him with the knee injury? And of course, Sam Bradford, he's had a hard time staying healthy. They gave up a first-rounder for him. Case Keenum and what he's done. You know, do you have enough confidence in what you've seen? Do you invest the kind of money it would take? A lot of hard calls to make.
Keenum fires it out of bounds as he was chased by Vinnie Curry. 2nd down and 10.
You know, the Eagles then, on the other hand, for Howie Roseman and Joe Douglas, 20 of their 22 starters are under contract through 2018. And only LeGarrette Blount and Nigel Bradham, the two guys that are not signed beyond this year. And that's a heck of a foundation. Here's a look at Howie Roseman, and I've been singing his praises really all year. He's done a terrific job.
Unbelievable. Here's a pass to Diggs. Makes the catch and takes a seat. The crowd in Philly, they'll get on anybody who takes a seat. 3rd down and 9 after a gain of just 1. Howie Roseman was the GM here from 2010 to 14. Lost that role with Chip Kelly here and got it back last year. What a roster he's built. 3rd and 9. 4-man pass rush. Keenum steps through, finds Diggs, who gets hit this time, but has a first down at the 40 as Corey Graham brings him down.
Well, you talked a little bit about it earlier, and Howie Roseman, in the 2 years he took over as general manager, they make the trade to get Wentz. They deal Sam Bradford for a first-rounder. They picked up Alshon Jeffrey last year. This year they trade for 2 starters on defense.
How about the in-season trade as a flag comes in? Might have a face mask there for Jay Ajayi. I mean,
right.
They just keep adding as they go.
They lose Darren Sproles. They're in need of a runner to complement LeGarrette Blount. There's the hold on the face mask, and they make a move and give up very little,
foul,
all
face
things
mask,
considered.
Defense number 53. 15 yards from the end of the run. First down.
For Jay Ajayi, and all he does is come in on the first game against the Cowboys, and he lights it up. And they have made moves over the last couple of years that have really helped this team. And it's the reason really why they've been able to get to this point, because they've had depth, and the Vikings have too. They lost their starting quarterback, they lost their starting running back, the rookie in Dalvin Cook. But both Howie Roseman and Rick Spielman have had great years as GMs.
On first down now after the penalty, this one thrown out of the back of the end zone for Wright. I think the fans here in Philadelphia will toast Howie Roseman for bringing Nick Foles back in as the backup quarterback to Carson Wentz.
Well, smart. I marvel at teams, and not that a lot was expected, at least league-wide, from the Eagles coming into this year, but I always feel like you have to have a backup that you really know can deliver. And that doesn't mean they always have to be a veteran if you really have confidence in a young guy, but great moves having these veteran backups.
Keenum throws. Darby broke it up, and it's picked. Intercepted by Corey Graham. And the defensive dominance by the Eagles continues. Turnover number 3. Since that first touchdown by the Vikings. 38 unanswered points, and the underdogs and their fans having a ball here in Philadelphia. 3 takeaways by this Philadelphia defense. Sets up the Eagles at the 7. And Ajayi with a short gain on first down. 2 yards brought down by Kendricks.
On the last takeaway, the interception by Corey Graham, we were talking about Howie Roseman and the job that he's done putting this roster together, and Corey Graham being another one of those guys. A free agent acquisition this offseason. Had some time with Jim Schwartz in Buffalo. He's been a nice addition as a third safety and came up with a play.
His 4th NFL team, and a guy who's won a Super Bowl.
I guess they're going to ride this out with Foles, but I wouldn't think they'd want him taking any hits.
See that note 3 touchdowns of 40 or more yards in a championship game. First team in the Super Bowl era to accomplish that. It's been big plays. It's been big first downs. It's been third down conversions, takeaways, precision passing. It's all there for the Eagles here tonight, under 5 to go. After a gain of 9, and Anthony Barr is slow to get off the field. So that stops the clock with 4:53 left.
And the guy who we really have not talked about yet tonight is the offensive line coach for the Philadelphia Eagles, Jeff Stoutland. And he was a guy who had been at Alabama with Nick Saban. They won a national championship in 2012. And Chip Kelly brought him in, and there he is. Chip Kelly brought him in when he was hired, and he stayed on. Doug Peterson wanted him to stick around, and Peterson has even said he's learned so much football from him. And Stoutland, not surprisingly, says he learned more football from his time with Nick Saban at Alabama. But he's the guy who coordinates the offense the run game, and a lot of what they do with their run-pass options are an extension of what they did under Chip Kelly. And he continually comes up with different looks and has just done a great job. And really why this offensive line by many people is considered maybe the best in football right now.
Ajayi met in the backfield by Kendricks, bounces off Kendricks. Strong run, Jay Ajayi. 15 yards. Tonight after the game, it's the premiere of Fox's new medical drama, The Resident. This is one you don't want to miss, as one young doctor takes on a broken system. The Resident 2-night premiere event starts tonight after the game right here on Fox. Ajayi right side. Gets 2. It's a graphic that Mike Zimmer and this defense doesn't want to look at. All season highs. Points allowed, total yards, pass yards. Nobody expected that.
Well, we came into today's games, both in the AFC Championship game and this one, talking about the defenses against the offenses and how the defenses most of the time prevail. And that would have been Jacksonville, and that would have been the Minnesota Vikings. And instead, they're going home, and the New England Patriots and the Philadelphia Eagles will meet in 2 weeks.
Here's LeGarrette Blount. And this trend will continue. There's a flag on the play. Indoor teams 0-12 in a conference championship game played outdoors. It'll be 0-13. They picked up the flag, and the clock continues to run with 3 minutes left. A beautiful second-year stadium in Minneapolis will be the host to Super Bowl 52. It is a palace there, and the Eagles and Patriots 2 weeks from tonight. Flag before the play clock ran out.
Before the flag was thrown for delay, there was a timeout called by Philadelphia. That's their second. It's a 30-second timeout.
So the sideline got a timeout. They'll pick up the flag before 3rd and 3. How about Philadelphia's history in the Super Bowl? You can go back to Super Bowl 15. Jim Plunkett and the Raiders beat Ron Jaworski and the Eagles and our friend Dick Vermeil. And then the Patriots and Eagles met in Super Bowl 39. The game was tied early in the 4th quarter. After the Patriots took the lead, the Eagles' comeback fell short. New England won by 3, 24-21. We were there for that one. It was you, me, and Chris Collinsworth.
Sure was.
Chris will be there with Al Michaels and Michelle Tafoya in 2 weeks.
I was going to say, we were there for that one, and now they got the rematch. And yeah, you're right. Chris will get a chance to call it again along with Al Michaels. I'll look forward to it.
Clement with another first down and another third down conversion.
Wow. That's the cherry on the pie right there. I mean, you know they're going to run the ball, and you just simply can't do anything about it.
Nick Foles was 0-1 his first go around with the Eagles in the postseason. And now he has become the 5th quarterback all time to have a 100+ quarterback rating in each of his first 3 postseason starts. You're one of the 5 with Nick Foles. Troy Aikman, did you know that?
Of course I knew that.
Yep, that's coming up. Bring on Brady in the Super Bowl. 2 minutes left in Philly. Well, 2 minutes away from their 3rd NFC championship are the Philadelphia Eagles. They'll get that trophy post-game. And Doug Peterson gets the Gatorade bath here at the end of the game.
Yeah, but come on. I mean, I throw a penalty. If you get a Gatorade bath, you got to at least come out of that with wet hair. Harry Carson is watching this, and he's saying, come on, let me show you how it's done.
What a moment for Foles. And nice that Doug Peterson there, Troy, sends in Nate Sudfeld, the backup, and lets Foles come off the field to an ovation here from this crowd at Lincoln Financial Field.
It's the greatest feeling, not only for Nick Foles, but everybody on that sidelines for the Philadelphia Eagles. You come into this game, you know what's at stake, and they've had this feeling for a while, but right now as this clock runs down, and they know that they're going to win and they're going to the Super Bowl in Minneapolis, there's few things in life that compare. I couldn't be happier for Nick Foles, and what a game he had. You called it. He was terrific right from the beginning, and he's going to have to be terrific in 2 weeks.
You could read the lips of Chris Long coming to him saying, I always believed in you. They were teammates back in St. Louis. And now Nick Foles has taken his team to Super Bowl 52. And there's the GM that brought him back, Howie Roseman. Foles 26 of 33, 352 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 79% and a 141.4 quarterback rating. Meanwhile, Mike Zimmer should be so proud of his team and what a job he's done, as they were 1 step shy of having a home game for the Super Bowl.
I've been on that side of it too, Joe, and that's an empty feeling, knowing how close you got only to come up short. But they'll be resolved, and they'll go through the offseason and promise not to go through that feeling again. They're a talented team, and they'll be back. But for tonight, it's the Philadelphia Eagles.
A nice hug from Brian Dawkins. And there is Nick Foles, the hero of the night for Philadelphia. Literally could not have played any better. Let's go down to Chris Myers. Chris.
Thanks, Joe. I'm with Nick Foles, and you just got a hug from Case Keenum, your former teammate, who said there's nobody who deserves this more than you.
This is all glory belongs to God. In this moment, it's unbelievable. It's humbling. Talking to Case, that's one of my great friends. I'm so proud of him for the year he's had, what he's done. I mean, it shows what kind of player he is, what kind of person. And for us to come out here today, fans were amazing, team was amazing. I'm sort of, y'all caught me right now. I'm a little speechless right now. It's unbelievable soaking it all in.
It's all right, Nick. 350 yards, 3 touchdowns, a quarterback rating, off the charts. Your coach said this week you were more confident. You were in your rhythm. What was the difference?
I think it's just, you just got to keep going at it. I mean, we all believe in each other. I'm blessed to have amazing teammates, amazing coaches. Everyone here that's a part of the Philadelphia Eagles organization is first class, and we go to work every single day to improve. And, everyone was against us, and just to come out here, stick together, and come away with an amazing victory against a great team. I mean, Minnesota Vikings have had an amazing year, and they're great competitors.
Well, happy birthday, too, the other day. Good luck against the Patriots.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, back up to Joe.
He has made the entire Foles family so proud here tonight. What a night in Philadelphia. The State Farm postgame show is coming up. We'll come back here after the break. Doug Peterson and the Philadelphia Eagles are going to Super Bowl 52.